Welcome back. We are continuing on trying to win this with only secondary guns, no torpedoes allowed, and only using destroyers. So if this is the first episode you've seen, you might want to go back and catch up with some of the earlier ones. If not, basically I'm just using destroyers and no torpedoes allowed. Okay, I am taking battleships, just in case you were wondering, simply so I don't lose from power projection. But I'm not actually using them in combat, so yeah, just sticking to the destroyers in combat. So we've got 3 destroyers versus 2 light cruisers. Personally, I'd say just ignore the transports on transport missions. It's not worth the hassle. Unless they change the system of what happens when you sink them, which at the moment all it does is give you victory points. Unless they change that so it actually damages your economy, I don't see there being any point in wasting your time. You may as well, you can kill a few if you want, you know, while you're waiting to encounter the enemy, but as soon as you actually see the enemy, just forget about the transports. They're practically irrelevant at that point. They'll give you a few extra victory points, but at the end of the day, who cares? You can score way more victory points by sinking enemy ships and not getting your own sunk. So if you're trying to kill transport ships while you're under fire from enemy ships, then you're more likely to take more damage and lose victory points than you are actually get a net worth profit off it. Don't know where these ships are. There they are, right in front of me. So, check to see if they've got any guns. They haven't. So I'm fine closing the distance, but if they did have guns, they would absolutely decimate your destroyers. So you just have to turn away and keep outside the range of the guns. Now, transport ships usually have a worse spotting distance, or in comparison to their size and your spotting distance and size. So you can potentially skirt them so they can't see you and you can see them. So you can still take on transport ships who've got guns if you stay on their periphery. But like I say, only do this if you're waiting for the enemy main ships to show up. You can just forget about them if the main ships are actually in combat with you. So I didn't check at the beginning whether it's had an R next to the enemy ships. R just means they're reinforcing or reserves. I'm not sure exactly what it stands for, but basically they're not close at the beginning of the fight. They have to come from a bit further away. So if they are on R, there's a chance that it might be a while until you encounter them. There's also a chance that they might be right next to the transport ships anyway. I've had that before where it says R and they're actually right in amongst them. So it's not an exact science, more of an estimation. Okay, so the enemy ships have arrived. He has got torpedoes, so I'm going to want to make sure stay out of them, the range of them torpedoes. Switch everyone's target onto him, so I don't waste time with transport ships. So I'm having a lot better time versus the light cruisers than I was against them heavy cruisers. I'll just have a look, see what their armour is. So their turrets have only got, well, they haven't got any armour. So if we have a look at the log, main gun destroyed, flash fire. You'll find that nearly every time you get a flash fire, it's from a main gun destroyed. So if you're building ships, don't skimp on the armour on your turrets, whatever you do. What I recommend is, this isn't a good example because it's a destroyer, but let's say for example you've got a light cruiser and it's got a 5-inch gun. I would put 5 inches of on your turret side and then half of that on the turret top. That's just a basic measurement. You want to make sure that you've got enough, basically. You can go a bit more in depth into it. So say for example, if you think that you're fighting, like if you think that you'll be dueling cruiser versus cruiser, they've got 0.5 deck penetration, so you only need 0.5 on top of your turrets. But obviously if you're having light cruiser versus heavy cruiser combat, then they might have 12-inch guns, or 11, sorry, and 11-inch guns might have 5 inches of top turret penetration. So when it says penetration deck, deck also counts for top of your turrets, which is probably pretty obvious, but I'd mention it anyway. Well, I thought that I told all these to aim at the light cruiser, but maybe I misclicked. So the reason I'm taking a wide berth here is because I don't want to get involved with collision avoidance with these transport ships. So if anything, I think I'd rather turn around and go that way than turn inside and start going near their transport ships. So I think I might do that. So I just need to make sure I don't get inside his torpedo range. Have a little look to see where his torpedoes are. So he's got one on every side. So nowhere is safe around him. Yeah, if you are going for critical hits, like because he's got poor turret armour, so you want to get a flash fire, then just stick to AP rounds. You can get AP rounds just by staying on auto, so just stay on auto. But if their turret armour is particularly heavy, they're a big ship and you don't think you're going to be able to get a critical hit on them, you're probably better off trying to burn them out and using HE rounds. So yeah, it all depends on how they've armoured their ship, what ammo you choose to use against them. AP rounds also cause much more flooding as well, so you're a lot more likely to flood them and you're a lot more likely to get critical hits using armour penetrating rounds. There we go, nice and easy. I don't think I took much damage there. I have to admit I wasn't paying attention to how much damage I took, but pretty sure it wasn't much. Yeah, virtually nothing. Damage received 250, 180, 80. Victory points, if you can see there, I didn't sink hardly any transports, and the victory points that I got were massive. Where if I'd have messed about sinking all them transport ships, I would have only got a few hundred more. And so if they've got guns, just forget about them. Alright, it says I got almost 500 from the transport ships, which is more than I expected, I have to admit. I highly doubt that that would have been I'll have to double check. Next time I get like 10 or so transport ships that haven't got guns, I'm going to sink them all and see if I get 2,000 worth of victory points instead of 450. Okay, finances. We are in the minuses still, but I think that's mainly because my battleships are still repairing. No, they're not. Battleships are fully repaired, so it's simply from these destroyers repairing. And because my transport capacity's dropped below 100, so I'll keep an eye on it. I'll leave it as it is at the moment. I've got a little bit of leeway in the monthly balance. Not the monthly balance, the naval funds. So as you can see, a load of my ships repaired, so it's dropped down quite considerably. 2 more destroyers and CLs. Okay. Not the most entertaining battle in the world, but let's go for it. It gives us a chance to see if the 7 transports give us loads of victory points. That's the R that I was referring to earlier, so it just means that they should be starting further away from the transport ships. Doesn't always work like that, but that's how it should work. Enemies to the east. So we've got cloudy weather, which means that it's going to be more difficult to spot them. Obviously in the evening as well, it's going to be more difficult to spot them, so let's have a look. It doesn't look like he's got any guns. If you click on a ship, an enemy ship, then it'll tell you what guns they've got. It says there, no guns. Now it would say there, on this shoot info section, what guns they've got if they have actually got some. So let's see how many we can destroy and test out how many victory points we get from it. I think I destroyed 3 or something in the last battle and got 450, so I didn't check 100% that I only sank 3, but if it was 3, then that's approximately 150 per transport ship. So let's see if we can sink them all and see if we get approximately 150 for each one again. So I am being shot at now, so this is not advisable to carry on sinking these transport ships, but I want to test it. So that's what we're going to do. It looks like I've got the gun bug where you only shoot. I wonder what causes that. It fixes itself eventually, but when you've got that gun bug, it only shoots when you actually right-click on an enemy. Like I say, it's not a permanent bug, it usually fixes itself, but it is weird. I think I might try and deal with one of these light cruisers before I start trying to sink them other transports. Yeah, I've messed up a bit here sailing into torpedo range, but should be okay. Sod it. I am going to go for these transports. Or at least I'm going to head towards them. I don't want them to sail miles away. He can focus on the cruiser. I'm also wondering as well, with the mission being like sink 100% and sometimes the mission is sink 50%, if you actually get a bonus for the mission. So it might not be a good idea to finish this last one, because I want to see how much I get without getting any potential bonus. So I think I'm going to leave one alive. So, as you can see, I've taken considerably more damage in this fight because I've been messing about with transport ships. And it appears as if I've missed one. There's actually 2 left. But I should still be able to work it out, obviously. I've destroyed 5, so if I am getting 150 each, it should be 750, obviously. But this is going to be a close battle now that I've been messing about with transport ships. That'll help. That will help. You gotta love getting 11 flash fires. Definitely in trouble here though. think that destroyer's going to bite the dust. I don't think I can quite turn him. Ooh, it's tight. I've turned him. No doubt the AI is saying that I'm using hacks. Player can turn faster with no engines. I've got 1 knot speed. If you have 0, completely 0, then you can't turn. But as long as you have some form of propulsion, then you can. But this is not looking good. I think he's going to come in for a torpedo run on this guy. So I'm just turning him now, getting him ready. But I've got a feeling that this might be good night. Come on, you can do it, you can do it. Oh, I knew it would be. See if I can get some hits off before I sink. Oh, look at that. I didn't even sink. Beautiful. Right, well, I took a stupid amount of damage, but I sunk 5 transport ships and 2 light cruisers. That looks like I might have got 150 per ship. Yeah, wow. They must have increased this recently in this latest patch, because I swear it was never that high before. Very nice, very nice. I only lost 13 victory points, are you kidding? Okay, so I'm guessing that this isn't going to last much longer. We'll soon find out. Okay, so looks like we've got a huge battle here, so what I'm going to do is end the episode here and then do this big battle in the next one. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. Take care and see you in the next one.